welcome you all to our first media briefing of the year 2024. As you may be aware, normally our first media briefing of the year focuses on our state of readiness for the opening of the academic year. Instead of updating the country on the state of readiness for the 2024 academic year, we regrettably find ourselves having to react to a report by the Organization Undoing Tax Abuse, known as Outa, which was released on the 4th of January 2024. This report contains serious allegations against me and Mr. Ernest Khosa, the chairperson of the board of Nsfas. In view of the seriousness of the allegations contained in this report and the intention to tarnish my image and that of my department and the government, we thought that in addition to the media engagement that we have already had on this matter, we should convene this special media briefing. The purpose of this media briefing is to challenge the allegations contained in the Outa report, refute the related distortions, and take the public into confidence on what is really behind these allegations against me and Mr. Khosa. Firstly, I wish to once again assure the South African public that as Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, I have never used any money from any of my department's entities for the purpose of funding the South African Communist Party, as maliciously and falsely suggested in the Outa report. Nor have I received any personal kickbacks from any of the service providers to Nsfas or any of the other entities falling under my departments. I therefore wish to dismiss this baseless insinuation by Outa, some organizations, including some sections of the media, that I as minister was involved in some form of corruption at Nsfas. These are all lies that emanate from a malicious fight back campaign. My conscience is clear and I have nothing to hide or fear. As stated in my statement on the 5th of January, I reserve my rights to take the necessary legal action, and I have also voluntarily decided that I'm going to subject myself to the relevant legal processes and ethics bodies of the African National Congress, its Integrity Committee, and the South African Communist Party, its Central Ethics Commission. And I wish to once again state that I have nothing to hide or fear. Secondly, my track record in fighting corruption at Nsfas and our TVET colleges and the CETAs speaks for itself. My fight against corruption and maladministration dates back since the appointment of the first administrator at Nsfas, where disciplinary processes were initiated against some employees following the discovery of some wrongdoing and financial misconduct by these employees. With the current Nsfas board, I have supported their initiatives to deal with ghost students who were benefiting from the scheme irregularly. I also directed the board of Nsfas to implement the recommendations of the Versman's report without fear and without any favor. Part of these recommendations is the termination of the contracts of the direct payment service providers. Thirdly, as you may be aware, the SACP has already made its stance known on the false allegations contained in the Outa statement and rejected them with the contempt they deserve. I also wish to place it on record, by the way, that I do a lot of party political fundraising, especially for the South African Communist Party, as is the case, I'm sure, with leaders of all our political parties. However, with the strict guidance from the SACP, I'm not permitted to raise funds from entities under my departments or knowingly from service providers in that space. As Minister, I also wish to remind the country that I have absolutely no role or direct influence in determining the allocation of training funds by any of the sitters, including the services sitter, by the way, which is named there as having benefited the South African Communist Party or myself. That is being mentioned in this malicious and largely false report by Outa. Fourthly, as stated, it is our view that the allegations against me as minister and the attacks on the chairperson of the Nsfas board, Mr. Khosa, are part of a nefarious fight-back campaign that is linked to success and measures I have taken to fight corruption and ensure clean governance at Nsfas. This campaign, unfortunately, fight-back campaign, now includes threats to the life, person and security of the Nsfas chairperson, who has been getting death threats since this report of Werksman's was out. You would recall that a finding was made by Werksman's attorneys that the appointment of 4 direct service providers who are paying allowances for students was irregular, and that in line with the recommendations of the Werksman's report, the contracts of these service providers would be terminated. And that in doing so, we had to ensure that the students are not affected negatively. It is our view that the leaked so-called recordings are part of a nefarious fight-back campaign that is meant to undermine and frustrate the decision of the Nsfas board to start with the legal proceedings, which they are going to be doing soon, to terminate the contracts of these 4 direct payment solution service providers, as recommended by the Werksman's report. I also want to say my suspicion is that the very same people that Outa was attacking initially, before this investigation was made, Outa now is opportunistically colluding with the people that they were attacking as having been corrupt, because now there is a bigger price, which is the head of Blade Nzimande. I'm suspecting that that is what is happening here.